Welcome to the Defense Reports Wires Brief. Today is July 3rd, 2026. At last month's NATO conference in Brussels, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had planned to announce further cuts to the U.S. military presence in Europe. His plan was nixed after Marco Rubio and other senior officials decided against the action. The immediate cuts were downgraded into a 6-month review, at which point there still may be cuts to U.S. troops in Europe. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps deployed special forces along Iran's Persian Gulf coast to identify vessels using the Oman side through the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC also requested access to Omani information regarding ship schedules and coordination details. The IRGC has also urged vessels not to take the southern Omani route, and still insists that only Iran can authorize routes in the Strait of Hormuz and therefore controls traffic. The week-long funeral for former Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei began today in Tehran. Foreign dignitaries from Russia, Pakistan, India, China, and Afghanistan were in attendance. Khamenei's body will also be displayed in Qom, Najaf, and Karbala, the great Shiite centers of Iran and Iraq. There have been reports of forced attendance in Tehran. Ukrainian Defense Minister Fedorov appealed to nearly 40 countries to urgently transfer Patriot missiles from their stockpiles. Ukraine signed a deal for hundreds of Patriot missiles, but delivery will take years. Ukraine has also asked permission to produce Patriot missiles under license from the United States. Yesterday's missile and drone attack on Kyiv saw the destruction of approximately 800,000 books. A central warehouse for Bookchef, a Ukrainian publisher, was hit. Ukraine's publishing industry took a massive hit back in 2024 when an attack on the Faktor Druk printing house destroyed 50,000 books in Kharkiv. Kharkiv is also where nearly 80% of the books in Ukraine are published. The World Health Organization announced that a trial of potential treatments for the Ebola species plaguing the Democratic Republic of Congo is being carried out. More than 1,400 cases have been reported, and 438 deaths have been confirmed in the country. The Sudanese army claims that it shot down a Chinese-made FH-95 strategic drone over the town of Tendelti in the White Nile state. The FH-95 is a similar copy of that of the MQ-1 Predator drone. Rapid support forces have intensified drone strikes on the state capital, El Obeid. There have been no comment from the RSF. It is suspected that the RSF acquired these drones through UAE support. Tanzania deployed military and security forces to Dar es Salaam and other major cities ahead of planned protests over last year's contested election. Last year's election saw the exclusion of leading opposition candidates, and President Samia Suluhu Hassan won with nearly 98% of the vote. The protests call upon the government to reform and address anti-corruption and to mark the deaths of the protesters last year. A government commission reported that at least 518 people died during the unrest, but opposition and religious groups say that security forces killed thousands. Canada is aiming to announce the Global Defense Bank at next week's NATO summit in Ankara. It is believed that Prime Minister Mark Carney will announce approximately 10 founding nations of the Defense, Security and Resilience Bank. The goal of the DSRB is to raise up to £100 billion or $130 billion for cheap loans for Western defense industries to expand. This has been today's Defense Report Wires Brief. Thank you very much, and until next